So, hello, this is probably going to be a pretty long video, because CG has just dropped title update and 10-year anniversary announcement post. So, we are getting, if you haven't seen, we are getting now a 10-year anniversary era, now that we're coming to the end of the Deadly Pursuit era, because we got the suckers today. So in a couple of weeks that'll be done, then we'll be entering the anniversary. And they have dropped quite a few exciting characters. And from what I've seen of the relic changes, it does seem to be pretty nice. But let's go down, scroll down and start talking. See, yeah, this is just introductory stuff. Now, eras, they are changing up a little bit. So, says here, last year we released episodes, and with them we measured the concept called errors, which is basically like Deadly Pursuit's era was 2 episodes, because we had B-Wing and the Rogue One, and then Fallen and Suckers. We had the era of piracy that had all the pirates leading up to Honda and Maz, the Revenge of the Sith Cavalry, and era of apprentices, I think it was called, which had General Syndulla and Hu Yang. So they are slightly changing it up. It's just like a little tweak to the standard eras. So 3 episodes per era, that was standard before. 6 marquee units. Now they did say before they were going like 5 or 6, but now they're just standardised it to be 6. A journey guide event and associated unit. So, like Windu, he had the clones and vanguards leading up to him, and then he was associated with them. Weekly episode quest, yeah, that's what we already had. Era challenges to test your marquee squads. Don't really get that. That'll probably become clear later. I have like skimmed through this. I've not thoroughly read it because it's getting pretty late here. Anyway, it's 20 past 11, so I'm going to try and get through this as soon as possible so I can go to bed. And multiple pieces of content for all players to enjoy. Periodically, we'll have new non-standard errors that may only last 1 episode or might not have a journey guide, blah 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 blah. They'll periodically have ones that won't adhere to all of these. As part of these changes, they're also expanding the availability of episode quests, the episode track and episode pass, to all players starting at level 10 instead of level 85. Okay, so if you're not at level 85, you're probably a level 10 or above, so you'll get more stuff. Players will get a different set of episode quests in each episode depending on their level when the episode starts. Players who are below level 85 will receive a standard set, and ones at level 85 will receive a bespoke set of episode quests for that episode. And character quests will become available for all players at level 20, which is the same level that unlocks marquee events. So yeah, they're changing a lot with marquee units, and then there's like Relic Delta stuff in here, and what the new era actually includes, and the new game mode. We'll get into it. So, a new era has begun. Era of Anniversary. So the 6 marquee units will be Stormtrooper Luke. This is what I'm most excited about. IG-90, not that bothered, no idea who that is. Yoda and Chewie, that's very exciting. Asajj Ventress Dark Disciple. So this is Ventress from, well, I guess technically the Dark Disciple book, but given she's got the yellow lightsaber, this is mainly from Bad Batch Season 3 and Tales of the Underworld. Inquisitor Barriss from Tales of the Empire, and I can't believe they're doing this. I literally said, because they released the trailer that had Stormtrooper Luke and Yoda and Chewie in it, and basically the cover art has Vader with the damaged helmet from Rebels when Ahsoka breaks his helmet, and I was like, I will laugh so hard if they release this character, and they they just went and did that. Uh, it's like the meme of people say, "Oh, just throw on a poncho, throw on a robe," like with the Qui-Gons and the Windus. This is just Vader with a broken helmet. And a little sneak peek there that you'll see in the background. We have Spider Legs Maul. Will be get we'll get into that later on. There's quite a lot of stuff before we get to the units. Actually, let's scroll. I'm just going to scroll all the way down. So I feel like this should have been clumped together. Oh my god. Right. So Stormtrooper Luke is meant to go with Stormtrooper Han, Princess Leia, Old Ben, and R2 as a team prior to unlocking Leia. Now, what I want to know is, as people who have Leia, like me, what the hell is this Luke meant to do then? Like, is he meant to go with Stormtrooper Han, Princess Leia, Old Ben, and what, Farmboy Luke? Or another? Because I put Old Ben in my Leia team. So is this going to be like a purely 3v3 team, or is he meant to go with someone else? Like, can you put him on a Sana team, for instance? Or instead of putting him on specifically a Sana team, could you just go like Stormtrooper Luke, Stormtrooper Han, Princess Leia, Rolo, and Captain Han? Can you use that? I don't know, we'll have to see. IG-90, again, no idea who it is, but he's a bounty hunter who will be a tank for Afra. People have been calling this for fucking ages, that Afra needs a tank. Finally, she's going to get one. Now, the one that I am... Well, actually, these next two are the ones I'm most excited for. Yoda and Chewie. Take Clone Wars Chewbacca, add one Jedi Master, and bake into a powerful addition to Tarful's Wookiee squad. You spelt Tarful wrong, by the way. It's 1 R, 2 Fs. But that is huge. Big fan of the Wookiees. I will be interested in knowing, like, who do I kick out? Because I currently use Tarful, Vet Chewie, Clone Wars Chewie, Zalbar Mission. Logically, you'd say, oh, take out Mission. But then it feels kind of weird to have Zalbar without Mission, but that's probably what's going to happen. I imagine this will be, like, if all units are Wookiees at the start of the battle. But regardless, very exciting. Asajj Ventress Dark Disciple, finally we are getting a bounty hunter Ventress. And this is a way of lifting up a Boba Fett sign of Django. Kind of surprising. Well, kind of surprising in the sense that, like, thematically doesn't really make sense, but giving Boba Fett sign of Django finally have a good team, that would be cool. This, I'm wondering, is this what Forlom and Zuckuss are meant to do? Are they meant? Is it meant to be like Boba Fett sign of Django lead with Dark Disciple Ventress, Forlom, Zuckuss, and Fennec? That's a name. Is that what's meant to happen? I don't know. Because these are just short little summaries. We'll get more details later on. Inquisitor Barriss. I'm not sure what she's meant to do, to be honest, because says she will be part of a strong Inquisitorious team in 3v3. That is quite nice, because you can only really make one good squad, which is Reva, Grand Inquisitor, Seventh Sister. So if you can make a second team, that would be quite nice. And it does say as a potential unaligned force user for Seer. Is that like you can use her, or is it in 5v5 you're going to use her with Seer, Seer and Malakos, and then Darth Vader Duel's End as a because the Stranger is if you've not seen anything about the Stranger, the Conquest unit that is their Conquest unit is currently the Conquest cycle is currently happening, and basically they're taking Emperor Palpatine's place as taking Palpatine's place on a Starkiller team, and a dark side online Force user using Fracture will replace Mara Jade. So you're basically putting Vader, who is an elite Marquis. This is only the second one. Our first elite Marquis was Grey Mother's, not had one since then. So he's going to join Emperor Palpatine and Mara Jade as the backbone of a true Empire squad. Hopefully this is going to give some use to Thrawn, and the only, other Empire character that literally never gets used is Krennic. Is it going to be like Thrawn and Krennic? Krennic? Is that going to be the team? I don't know, but that is pretty nice. Because when they announced the Stranger, I was like, what is going to happen to Palpatine and Mara Jade? And yeah, Maul with the spider legs. It's going to be the journey event. Maul hate-fueled. Rebuilding his broken body from scrap metal and pure rage, the former Sith apprentice will seek out a stranger to give him a new purpose and lead him in battle. So, this is the dark side online Force user that will be going with the Stranger. I'm pretty glad it's not another character from the Acolyte, because I did get a bit concerned that we were going into an Acolyte era next. Nice to see that's not happening, and taking a wild stab in the dark, I think he's going to be a large character. Third one. First being Jabba, second being Great Mothers, and let's... I feel like that should have been put here with this image. Right. Errors will be isolated from the rest of the game, which we're referring to as legacy content. This does confuse me a little bit, because... Actually, I'll just wait till we get to that bit. During the era in which each Marquee and Journey Guide unit is released, both the Journey Guide and Marquee units will be considered an era unit. When it ends, all current era units will become legacy units. When the next era begins, the newest Marquee and Journey Guide units released during that era will then be considered era units. So basically what this means is all of these characters will be considered era units, and then when Era of Anniversary finishes, then they'll become legacy units. I assume that everything from like Hu Yang to Zuckuss, are they just all gonna be renamed legacy units? I don't know. Might say later on, because again, I just skimmed through this. So this is what it's gonna look like. I will say, it's really funny for this one, it looks like Yoda's like desperately trying to fit in this portrait. What is interesting is that there's this weird thing here of a hood. I don't know if that's supposed to be like Maul, if they're trying to like hide the portrait or whatever. Or maybe this screenshot was done, like before they'd finalised the portrait. I don't know. Just something odd that I've just noticed. But yeah, so presumably they are going in this order as well. So starting with Luke and then ending on Vader. And yeah, above the character section, they'll have their own little bit. This is an important distinction for a few reasons. Era units can only be used in era modes and will not be allowed in legacy modes. Era units only use era resources for progression, while legacy units will continue to use existing materials and recipes for upgrades, so like gear and ability mats, etc. Legacy units cannot be used in error modes or be upgraded with error materials. That I kind of expected, but one thing that does have me slightly concerned is that means you cannot use any of these 6 or 7, including Maul. You can't use them in any legacy mode until their era finishes. Why? Like, is there a particular reason? Well, I know that because the Colosseum, if you saw it, basically that's the first era mode. So that's where the only place that you can use these units. It's a bit strange, but maybe it will become clearer later on. This isolation is primarily to allow players to progress in both the latest content and grow their rosters with legacy content without having to choose where to put their resources, but a more detailed explanation of why this distinction isolation is born can be found at the bottom of this update. Oh, why not just put it here? Okay, don't know why you wouldn't just put it there, but whatever. So yeah, I guess this is pretty good because I'm pretty excited for basically all of these units. Less so on IG-90, mainly because I don't have Afra. But I can use all of these. I mean, Asajj, I would have to build up Boba or get his Lightspeed bundle. To be fair, it's not terrible because it does give you all of his Omicrons and Zetas. But who knows, they might not actually bring that back. Yoda and Chewie, like, I'm excited for these units to come. So, given I've just started putting gear and relics into my Balin Skull farm, the fact that I can chase Balin whilst also isn't company break. It's nearly midnight. Um, yeah, with like whilst building up these newer units, that is quite nice. Era Journey Guide will work a little bit differently than normal Journey Guide units. They will start in week 9 of the era. So if we just scroll up, does it actually say? Not really. Does it? No. Okay. Starting week 9 at the era, which is if I just kept reading, it would be fine. When the 5th era marquee is released, uh, era Journey Guide units will be available at 4 stars to allow players to use them early during the era, and they'll be structured as follows. Tier 1 requires the first 5 era marquees at era level 45. Era level 45. There are, the levels we've currently got, which go up to 85, and then there are era levels, which are different, and will unlock the Journey Guide at 4? What? At 4? At 4 what? What? What, at 4 stars? At, what? 5 Journey Guide. Right, the 5 will. What? Oh! The 5-star will require the units at 5 stars. Okay, it says like 6-star and 7-star. Can you at least be consistent here? Because that's very confusing. 6 and 7-star versions of Maul, in this case, will be available when the 6th marquee releases and will require all of them at 6 and 7 stars. So that is. It looks to be nicer, but we'll actually see if that happens. A significant amount of time after the era, the Journey Guide will become a legacy event, but it will have different requirements as the marquees will no longer be era units. Can you expand on that? Because there's a significant amount of time after the era. What is that, like one in one era's time, in 2, 3? I don't know. And it also says it will have different requirements. It's like, why? I feel like that's just going to get more confusing. Because, like, say you don't get Maul this time, or like at 7 stars, say, then when you want to get him later on, then all of a sudden you need like 6 different characters. It's like, but I already started building up these ones for him. It's doesn't really make sense. Maybe it will become clear later. I don't know. I feel like they've structured this a bit dodgily. Error levels. To support our design pillars, we're introducing a new progression system for error units. Again, this is only the error units in particular. This system uses new resources instead of the legacy gear or relic materials. So, like Kyrotex, Bronzium wiring, all that sort of stuff, not going to be needed basically until these units become legacy units. Allowing all players to simultaneously continue their existing farms and chases while building up and playing with the new units. I will say, in general, like, we'll see how this actually pans out, but if it's acting as the way this saying it will be, I am really glad, because for a while, because I've gone, like, after all the stuff that I wanted to go after, I found myself, like, just feeling stuck of, like, what do I chase? I've just been boosting relic levels at the moment, but I was like, I kind of want to get, like, some of the new stuff, but then that's taking stuff away from if I wanted to do other journey events. So being able to do both at the same time is quite nice. Error levels are a linear progression path that unlocks stats or abilities at each level. Unit stances is another way to power up your error units and are required to upgrade error levels beyond certain levels. Right. Okay, now I am less confident how they said that. Oh, so yeah, here's Stormtrooper Luke. He's going to be a leader, so he's going to lead the team. I was thinking maybe Stormtrooper Han would lead it, because his lead is actually quite decent. And he's going to be a support, and he's only going to be a rebel, no rebel fighter, so no Mon Mothma or Saw. And also, see the ability icons. Can we... Oh god. It's not what I wanted to do. But yeah, you see, like, level 6 requires 3 stars. Well, and this is the new currency. But, like, what is going to require the star levels? Because it just says particular... Oh no, it does say. So 4 stars required for level 66 plus, 5 star 76, 6 star 86, 7 star 91. This is error levels, because our, like, proper levels, I guess you could call it, obviously they only go to level 85. This is not increasing them, I think. They'll need a variety of error material to upgrade a unit's error level. They could be earned from participating in this era through Colosseum, marquee events, journey events, and episode track milestones, or just straight up being purchased from the store. When era units become legacy, at the end of an era, the era level will convert into the character level, gear, relic, and ability level associated with what the level is. Any era materials and era currencies will be converted to legacy materials at the end of an era. Oh, that's quite nice. So say if you had like 200 left over and it's like, oh, I've got nothing to use this on, it's not just going to disappear. It will be built up a little bit. The specifics of this new economy are still being finalised, but here are some examples. Oh, thank you. Thank you for just giving us examples. So, era level 65. This is where we expect most players to reach with completely free to play. You should be able to get them to the equivalent of Gear 12 and Ability level 7. That's pretty good. Being able to get to Gear 12 without Kyrotech, pretty nice. Era level 80, you get them to Relic 2. So, maybe on like the episode track, if you get some more currency or whatever, you get them to level 80, you get them to Relic 2. And level 95, which is the max level, you'll get them at Relic 6 and ability level 8, which includes Zetas. Now, they say Zetas, they don't say Omicrons, so I'm guessing that is still going to be a no. But being able to skip out on using Zeta mats for Zetas, very nice. Okay, so we're about to go into Colosseum, so this is basically how it's going to work. So say, take Luke here. You can see if you left him at level 27, he'd become Gear 6, and then it increases the higher up you are, obviously. Right, the Colosseum, which I did say when this was shown in the trailer, I was like, this looks exactly like the arena from Fallen Order, and that is basically what it's going to be. Because, actually, let's go back. So I imagine that's part of the opening cutscene of it, mainly because all of these units are they are from Fallen Order. Like, this is a creature from Fallen Order. They've got an ATST, which, actually, to be fair, I don't know if that's from Fallen Order. It might be Jedi Survivor. But you can see here you've got the 5. Well, you've got all of them except Barris. Oh, the Vader looks like it's not just his helmet that's broken. His cape has a singe on it. Let's see here. It shows you the Elder Stars, shows you Luke. Shows you Luke's ability icons again, and he does seem to clearly have a leader and a unique. So Colosseum is a new game mode, and the first era mode to be added to Galaxy of Heroes. So there are going to be more coming at some point. It pits individual players against formidable foes. Bosses will rotate daily. Okay, so it's going to be a daily thing. With players attempting to achieve new high scores each day, these high scores will earn rewards in 2 ways. One-time rewards for reaching a certain score, and the daily leaderboard rewards for competing against other players. But it is nice to see this is just on an individual characters, so it's not like on a guild basis or whatever. Colosseum Leopold is one of the primary places to earn new Relic 10 materials, and there's more on Relic 10 later on. So this is so it's like, oh yeah, if it's the Jotaz, then you'd go in. It says you can go up to 5 battles. I don't know if that's just a default thing or what, because you can only use 6 or I guess 7 units at a time. But whatever. And then depending on the score you get, blah 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 blah, get further down the track. To support this new leaderboard, players will be randomly assigned to new era shards. Oh, so like the squad and fleet arena shards. But completely separate from that, an era shard is not tied to a player's squad or fleet arena shard and will not affect either of those in any way. They will be randomly assigned to a new shard each era, giving everyone an opportunity. Okay, so I like that they're mixing it up a bit, because especially with like my squad arena and fleet arena, I left the game for like 2-3 years, and then when I came back I was like, oh, I'm stuck at like level 500. Like it was struggling to get to level 500 in squad arena. So it's like, if you leave the game, don't worry, they're not like, you're going to be able to catch up pretty quickly with this. And yes, there's only 4. You've got the Zepho Tomb Guardians, Pirate ATSC, which I think is from Jedi Survivor. Dryax, I don't recognise, to be honest. It might say later on. But yeah, that's just a few there. Error challenges are another place to use error units. They'll be replacing galactic challenges. Okay, in an effort to help manage how much time players are spending completing daily tasks. That is nice. These difficulties are balanced around having error units and squads at certain error levels, and the free reward those appropriately. These will be available during the weeks between marquee units, and players will have the full week to complete as much as they can on their own schedule. Right. Has this been properly balanced, given that we are not getting galactic challenges anymore? Or are we still getting galactic challenges, but not when the error challenges are taking place? Time needed to complete all the events and modes daily is an important topic to discuss. Blah blah blah. Addition of Colosseum and managing an error roster. We've designed systems and the scale of errors to something far more manageable. Right. So the Colosseum is a huge focus for this release, but we were careful to ensure that only a few battles a day are needed to complete most of the error content and advance up the leaderboard. Nice. You'll score for each Colosseum boss in a high watermark that persists over the error, which means that once you retrieve the best score, you don't have to keep battling over and over again that day. Okay. A new type of event is error challenges, which replaces galactic oh, so is this just flat out replacing them? Every other week, players have 7 days. Oh, okay. So, whereas galactic challenges are 3 days, error challenges are going to be for the whole week. They're going to mean like the off week of marquee units. To complete the error challenges and use their newly powered up error squads, they should make it error challenges less time intensive than galactic challenges overall. Possibly, yes. However, rewards wise, what? Because galactic challenges were very good for progressing the episode track. Lastly, we wanted to reduce the time spent in conquest and territory battles. Thank God, because I mean, conquest is just not a fun game mode. Territory battles, I think, it can be fun, but because you're doing the same battles over and over again and they take forever, it's really boring. For players who are over-invested in squads needed for the zone, so take Rise of the Empire. For the first plans, you need Relic 5. If you have a Relic 7 squad, it's going to be a little bit nicer with Relic Delta. Make the squads faster and need less micromanaging during the encounters. In the future, we'll continue to examine which modes should be supplemented by the error system and which ones are important drivers of your legacy roster that should stay front and centre. We're also scrutinising which areas of the game are not only time intensive, but become repetitive once mastered. This is a space we continue to examine and determine if they should be addressed with quality of life changes or removed entirely. That's a little bit interesting. More on this in the future as we watch the release closely, how it impacts time spent in the game. Given that they haven't really done anything to do with this in ages, I like a lot. Because, yeah, there are, like, conquest, territory battles. They are kind of boring. So, being able to just, go over it to make them quicker, very nice. Also, that does not say supplemented, that says supplanted. I have no idea what supplanted means, so we're going to move on. So the cantina, they've long wanted to spice up the cantina with new character story elements, blah blah blah. Yeah, because the cantina hasn't really been changed up since Galactic War Table got changed to Galactic Battles as it tied in Conquest. While our team is hard at work preparing larger changes, we wanted to put seasonal content front and centre to facilitate this. Light side and dark side battles, their tables are going to be condensed into the Cantina table and it will be renamed Campaign Battle. So yeah, you can see you still got Mod, Arena, Galactic Battles, and then Campaigns. What I imagine this is going to be is basically you click on Campaigns and it will go basically to light side, dark side, Cantina like it does with the Arena table. I would say, could you also plonk in fleet battles as well? That'd be nice to, so you don't have to. It'd be a nice thing if you could just like put them all together. I could also maybe see them at some point throwing mod battles, maybe not mod challenges, but mod battles in particular, to free up space in the cantina for something else. And then yeah, the Colosseum, and then the current marquee unit. We'll continue to modernise the cantina in an update scheduled for next year. Our goal is to provide an easily navigated home screen. Okay. Yeah. Future seasonal content. Oftentimes, players will be building 2 or even 3 squads out of the marquee and journey guides the units they unlock during an era, and we want to support player agency in developing those squads. Early next year, we plan to release what we're calling loaned units, a system where players will temporarily be granted a variety of additional era units based on legacy units for use in era modes. What? What? Loaned units will not require direct investment to increase their power and go away at the end of the era. Until then, we're utilising summoned units within Colosseum to find a better, more well-rounded combat experience. What? Okay, this bit I just straight up don't understand. So they plan to release loaned units, a system where they'll be granted a variety of additional era units based on legacy units for use in era modes. But oh, are they saying like some legacy units will become loaned units? Like you'll get a copy of, say, Marek, for whatever, just random character. So say you have them in your roster, but then at one point they'll give everyone a loaned Marek that will go away at the end of the era? Is that what they mean? I don't know what else they could be meaning. We recognise that players who want to duke it out in PvP rather than both fight big bosses. With that in mind, we want to bring a PvP mode to eras in the future. Right, for this to be compelling, needs to be supported by low-end units and a system for stat differentiation. Okay, so they're gonna try and build in a PvP error mode. However, for error PvP modes, I think that's supposed to be, can be complicated and they introduce wide variance in player experience. Yes, while the system provides interesting texture to legacy content and long-term progression, it is not conducive to seasonal content, where all players start from the same place each era. With all that said, any era PvP will be introduced alongside a new system for stat differentiation among era units that will allow era PvP to be an intriguing competitive landscape for players to whatever. Players should know that this is not the end of legacy content, as the era system works in conjunction with new eras and modes outside of. We have many plans to release more features content like raids, TV planets, and units. What? Now this is confusing me. Units? So there's going to be a difference between era units. At the end of their era, they'll become like legacy units. But then there's also going to be regular units. What? What? Okay. Legacy changes. Right, marquee cadence. A long time ago, we established cadence for marquee units. Yeah, I think that was around the time of Jedi Raven. Since then, we've added to the cadence charts, becoming accelerated 1 year later, and introduced new versions of marquee events. They're evolving marquees to the next stage. Players will be granted all of the marquee units from an era the first time they log in during that era, but they won't be accessible for upgrades or battle use until their specific marquee event starts, but they'll exist in your roster. So all players will have access to the same units at the same time, even if a particular marquee unit is missed. You'll still want to play them to get more shards, though. Also helps players jump straight into era content. Okay, so this is quite nice to say if you missed a particular marquee event. Say the first unit is Stormtrooper Luke, so say if you jumped in during IG90's marquee event, you will then still unlock Stormtrooper Luke. So that is quite nice. Other notable changes to marquee units is when they transition to shipments nodes and accelerated status. So marquee shards will be in shipments approximately the second week after their release era ends and they become legacy characters. Marquee shards will be farmable on a node approximately 13 weeks after their marquee event. So not when their era ends, after players can unlock them, 13 weeks after that, they'll become farmable. And their shards will become accelerated 1 year after the start of their release era, even though this would mean it may become earlier than 1 year. This is also where marquee units are eligible for lightspeed tokens as a change of the earlier plan of having them become eligible 1 year after the end of their era. So yeah, they'll become accelerated a year after their release era began, and that will also be when you can use them for lightspeed tokens, because lightspeed tokens are becoming more important, or you're just getting them more, as we'll get into later on. My god, this video is nearly 45 minutes long, and I'm not even nearly at the end. Jesus. Okay. As part of this major errors update, there will be a change in relic economy. So reduce the pinch of gear and relic materials, increase flow of relic resources to players, and improve access to relics. I'm going to try and speed through this because, my god, this video is long already. So they are reducing some of the relic pressure is through the changes to errors. Errors significantly change how they... Yeah. This reduces the amount of gear needed for... Yeah. Whatever. So, outside the newest units, area rewards will also impact many older journeys. Light speed tokens are rewarded for engaging or investing in an area and can be used on them, and they can be used on journey guide events, but you will see there are character specific ones. So, in terms of a journey guide, it will be like R2D2 specifically, or Yoda specifically. A goal is for areas to be an efficient way to acquire journey guide units. I will say that it's kind of annoying as well when you get to when you build up all the requirements, unlock a character, and now you have to spend like 2 weeks building them up. Additionally, to alleviate some pressure on relic materials for Relic 9, we are removing fragmented signal data, so the grey ones, chrome transistor and rhodium heatsink from the Relic 9 recipe. That sounds nice, but I don't think it really is as nice as they're trying to paint out, because chrome transistors and rhodium heatsinks, they're very easy to get. They are not a bottleneck. The bottleneck is bronzium wiring and carbonite circuit boards mainly, and then the higher stuff like electrum conductors, impulse detectors. So, I mean, like, the signal detector, I guess, is nice, but this is the one that has the best drop rate, so, like, it's nice, but I don't think it's as big as they're making it out. All of these changes combined allow you to use less gear for upgrading you to save gear for the scavenger, and increase the amount of relic flow. So, while reducing places you need gear, it's important relics, get more relics. This primarily comes from the updates to masters on the free episode track. Relic 1 to 5 mats and tier 1 to 3 signal data. I guess that means the 3 signal data we currently have, because I'm pretty sure they are adding another one for Relic 10. Will be replacing existing Galactic Challenge salvage boxes on the free episode track. So, you know, the boxes that give you a little bit of gear, that's going to be replaced with relic materials. Players engaging daily in areas will still be able to complete the episode track, and we expect most players to earn those rewards monthly. On top of that, we are updating episode shipments to include things like the grey and green signal data, so people can use their extra stuff there. That is nice as well, because signal data is one of the more annoying things to farm. And improve access to relics. So this is a bunch of scavenger update. Arrow magnifiers, you can now salvage for these things. Droid brains, you can now get. To be honest, the droid brains is not what I would like. It's not arrow magnifiers and droid brains that are a problem. It's the girder, however you say it, keypads and impulse detectors, and signal data recipe for the new corrupted signal data that will be needed for Relic 10. You use the other signal data. In addition, the scavenger raid shipments are being updated. So Electrum Conductor and Zimbalal cards, instead of costing Mark 3 raid tokens, they'll now need Mark 2. And there's the cost there, which is actually really cheap. Although, actually, no, because this might be like 100 per one Zimbalal card. So, actually, no, maybe it isn't. Carbonite circuit boards, bronzium wiring, chromium transistor, and a rhodium heatsink are now going to be Mark 1 token instead of Mark 2. That's really nice, considering that Mark 2 tokens, I'm like, no, I can't use them for relics, I need them for gear. And I always end up with loads of Mark 1s that I just buy random bits of gear just so I don't overflow. So being able to use them on specifically these two, that's going to be a lot nicer. And they've updated the rarity requirements. So to get to Relic 4, instead of having to be 6 stars, now need 5. Relic 5 now requires 6 stars instead of 7. That's actually really nice because there's a lot of characters that require things at Relic 5, like Grand Inquisitor, Jar Jar, Windu. So now you don't need them at 7 stars, you just need 6 stars. And Relic 6 is now the first one where you need 7 stars to get to Relic 6. So that is nice, I do like that change. While we lift the floor for relics, we also want to raise the ceiling with Relic 10. Earn from error shipments, be most valuable, yeah, for the top end people. And increasing the accessibility for Relic 9. So, the final, thanks to the episodes in the playtest, finalised the result. This is the finalised, which is basically, this is the latest version we saw. So still basically, if you're like 1 or 2 relic level difference, probably not going to impact you all that much. Relic 3 is probably going to be more difficult, and then beyond a relic difference of 4, just give up, basically. Yeah, whatever. Episode track updates. So you can get error materials on the episode track. The Pass and Pass Plus will contain even more and help you climb the Colosseum leaderboards. Additionally, yeah, they already said that. Galactic Challenge episode points migration. There we go. This is what I was concerned about. They are discontinuing Galactic Challenges in their current form, and yeah, said that. So, episode points awarded from these feats have been fully distributed across episode quests. Okay, so episode quests are going to be giving you more points. Only the points from feats requiring episode pass ownership were applied to quests requiring it. So, like the one of the Galactic Challenge feat where it says complete this with the episode pass active, that is just going into people who have the episode pass going on to their quests, which is nice. Specific. There you go. There's the changes. You can read them. This video is going to be like an hour long. Daily quests. There you go. Lightspeed tokens getting a slight update. So Carbonite used to be Gear 10. It's now going to be Gear 12. Bronzium Relic 1. Chromium Relic 3. Erodium Relic 5. Kuiper Relic 7. Relic 6. Sorry. All other upgrades remain the same. I don't know if there were any, whatever. So, yeah, this is. But, the ones we choose all focus on lifting squads that we feel could use a little help in certain areas, or building entirely new squads out of homeless characters. So, yeah, Stormtrooper Han, you will find on the Sana team. R2 and Old Ben definitely on the Leia team. So I'm not entirely sure if you've got Leia. What is Stormtrooper Luke gonna add? I don't know. We'll see. IG-90, kind of different. He's mostly just there to lift. Afra, Yoda and Chewie boosting up. Wookiees, Ventress making sign of Django actually usable. Barriss, I guess the homeless characters will be like certain Inquisitors in 3v3. And then Vader is gravitating towards Palpatine and Mara Jade. I'm hoping Palpatine will at least still have the leader ability, because his lead is really good. But yeah, I think everyone, like pretty much everyone, is just in this other than Luke and maybe Barriss. Yeah. So it will be called Mule. Mule? Fuck hell. It's gone midnight. Maul hate fueled. Yeah, there you go. There's the oh yeah, it's a vicious verification from the planet Wayland. Oh, that might be from Bad Batch. Anyway, quest celebration. Assignment releases this title and continuing over the next 6 months. releasing a series of anniversary quest chains that will appear in journey quest logs. It'll get you a bunch of rewards. Quests remain available until the 17th of November next year. Unless otherwise specified, lightspeed tokens rewarded. Upgrade the character to gear 13. What? Okay. Lightspeed tokens rewarded in this specific questline takes them to 7 stars and gear 13, and will include Zeta upgrades, but not Omicrons. That is quite nice though. So it gives you Harrison Dula, Sabine Wren, which that will be 18th of November. So that's going to be the first one. And to be honest, even though I have these characters relics, that's still probably going to be worth it if that gets me their Zetas. Then it'd be Ezra and Chopper, Captain Rex, that's a big one, and then just a random Rebel one, and then yeah, like I said, Palpatine. You got a bunch here. I'll just skip through the ones that Yoda. You've got all of the Marquee Inquisitors prior to Marek. I'm trying to go through see if there are any interesting ones. Oh, just a random droid one. I guess I'd give that to Shorty. I mean, oh no, Bounty Hunter one, that'd be quite nice. One for Beskar Mando, and to be clear, this is the Mandalorian. This is a regular Mandalorian one, so any Mandalorian unit did confuse me the first time I read it. Pillars of seasonality. Let's walk through the 4 pillars. Right. Seasonal plate. Yes, basically everyone has it. Focus on the fun. I think that's pretty much it. Tell a Star Wars story. Whatever. Most efficient path for player progress. Yeah. So obviously, it's going to be more beneficial to you to get these characters when they are error units. Let's just speed through. Or I guess with lightspeed tokens. Conclusion. I don't think there's anything else. I know I skipped through that bit, but like the entire second half. But my god, this is such a long video. Sorry, I'm not gonna edit this. It's gone midnight. I need to get to bed. But I want to give you all of this. Right, I'm sure there are going to be videos that are like half this length, so I'm very sorry. But yeah, thank you for watching. This is mad. Pretty exciting units coming, and these changes to the relic economy actually do seem pretty nice. I did get very worried with Relic Delta, but it seems like this actually might be really nice. Do have a few concerns, but yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.